Hello, hello, Jumbo Jumbo. How are you doing this afternoon? I'm your host, Diana Mekubo, and today we are going to talk about an important topic that I know most of the parents have been, asking themselves, what is really happening? So today we are going to cover them in 20 points so that we get to know how are we going to help our children so that they can be in a position, of speaking Swahili. So the title of today's topic is the silent period. Why your child isn't speaking Swahili yet and what to do about it. Now we are going to see the things that we should do in order for them to speak. Okay? So, um parents who are watching this show, before we start, I want you to type does your child understand more of Swahili than what they can actually speak? What do you think? Do they actually understand more of Swahili than what they can actually speak? Mhm. You can type it on this. You can type that in the comment section, and also remember to tell me where you are watching us from, so that I can give you a shout out today. So now, here is a big idea for today. There is a well documented stage called the silent stage. I know some of us may not know that there is that stage that is called the silent period. So, this is where now a child understand more than they can actually say it out loud. A period where they understand more than they can say it out loud. It is not delay. Some of us may think that, oh, this is delay, my child is delaying, my child is not speaking. No, it is not delayed. It is not a block. And it is not even brain, quiet. It is that period where the brain of a child is actually building a foundation before, speech switches on. So it is a period where we have, the brain, building a foundation in your child, building a foundation before the child can actually switch to, speech, before a child can switch to actually, speaking. And parents, our job is actually not to force, these children to speak faster. No, it is to keep the input richer, and it should be pressure free. And I believe that if we do that, it's going to be the best for our kids. So, our duty as parents, what we need to do, or our job, it is not to put pressure on them. It is actually to input in, to keep, to make sure that the input is richer, and then to actually making sure that it is pressure free. Now, let's go right into these 20 points that are going to help us understand why are they not speaking, or why do they, understand more than what they can speak. So let us now go into these points one by one. So one of them is that, understanding always comes before speaking. Understanding always comes before speaking. So, parents, this is, number one thing that we are going to hold on to today. Understanding a language is always, always develops before a child can actually speak. They understand before they speak. That's why we have this, silent period. So, if your child understands a lot but says little, that is not a gap. That is not a gap. So that is a normal order of things. So they understand and then they start speaking. So that is the order of things. Now let us look at this example. So a child who can correctly point out paka, which is a cat, or follows what you call, chukua kiatu, which is get your shoes, but won't say a full sentence yet, we can say that they are actually, you know understanding. There is an understanding there, you know So I want you, parents who are watching me right now, comment on the comment section. Tell me, does your child actually follow Swahili instruction even if they don't actually speak much yet? You know, you might be giving them instructions, telling them to bring you something and they say it in Swahili, and then they actually bring you that which you ask for them. So, does it happen like that? That they understand instruction even if they actually can't speak much? Uh huh. Please type in the comment section if that is you, that is what your child or your children do. Now, another thing that I want us to talk about is that the silent treatment is actually a recognized stage. Have you ever thought of that? That researchers have, there are people who have done research on it, and then they have seen that this is indeed a recognized stage, a stage where it really happens. This is not something that is build up or something someone thought about it. No, and this is not to make you feel better, but researchers have done that and they have documented it for years, where they'll say that in mostly where we have learners who are learning this second language, there is always that period of, or that phase of, um of them being silent. For example, we have so many bilingual kids, go months when they're absorbing a language, quietly before their first spontaneous sentence appears. This is well documented. It is not, unusual at all. Mm-mm, no, it is there. And I think there's somewhere I learned, I read something, and it was. There was a good example that was used there where a child was being taught something, and then day one, just, listening, not saying anything. Day two, day three, it went by, and then eventually the child said that particular word. I feel like that is the same thing here. That there is that phase, you know, where they'll just absorb it. And then it will reach a time now they are going to, you know, speak, they are going to talk. So it is there, it is not, a gap, but researchers have said for children or bilingual children, there is that phase where they have, the silent stage. So if this is your first time you are hearing this is normal, and let us know in the chat. Have you ever heard about it, or this is the first time you are coming across such? Mhm. So remember to type it on the comment section. Tell us where you're watching us from. Tell us whether you are enjoying these topics that we usually talk about. Have they helped you? Is there anything that you have tried to input in, teaching your child Swahili, and you see that it has started working or it's literally bearing fruits? Tell us in the comment section, and right away we are going to discuss further. Okay, so um, for those who are joining us right now, today we are talking about, the silent period. Why is my child, understanding Swahili but does not, does not speak yet, or does not speak uh, yet? So that's what we are talking about, and we are going to see what are the ways that we can actually, do this so that we make sure that they start speaking what we're supposed to do. Mhm. Now, something else, that another point that I want us to look at or talk about is uh, mostly this silent period often, they are often longer for younger children. So these younger children usually take long in this phase, simply because they are still building, the general speech skills, not just a second language. No, they are building, They're building, the general speech skills. So that's why there's that silent period. Mhm. It is not just for that second language that you want them to acquire, not really. No. But eventually they are going to speak. Now let us look at this beautiful example. We have, a 4-year child, who might, stay quiet, in Swahili for actually 6 months or more. Can you imagine that? A child staying quiet for 6 months or more, while we have a 7-year-old with more general, language maturity may speak sooner. Look at those two examples. So we have said that younger children usually take longer to speak. And here's to why. It is because they're still developing their, they're still, developing, or building general, speech skills. And that's why I'm giving this example. That child, that younger child will take long to speak compared to this 7-year-old child who has actually already built up, he has built up that, general language maturity. Yeah. So tell us, uh-huh, please tell us in the comment section, the age at which your child started talking. What do you think? Or let me put this question well. Tell us your child's age in the comment section, and we'll talk about what you need to do at this particular stage. Please remember to type that in the comment section so that we can have this chat together, so that we can brainstorm together, so that we get to know how are we going to really help your child. All right? Mm-hmm. So another thing that I want us to talk about is that pressure. We have pressure can extend the silence period. It actually can't shorten it. Mm-mm. It will extend. It will make it even longer. Mhm. And as parents or as educators, we need to know this, that when a child feels like they are being watched or tested, that anxiety that they have in them can, make them, calm up even more. Pressure works against, against that, against us all. So if I know that someone is watching me, if I know that if I make a mistake, so and so is going to, try to correct me. I may tend to keep quiet, not to talk, because I'm not sure if whatever I'm going to say is going to be right, you know. So that's why we see that if there is pressure, it actually extends, that silence period. Now let us look at this practical example. You know, repeatedly you keep on, you repeatedly ask, say it in Swahili, you know. Come on, say it in front of the family, You keep on telling your child like that, That one will often, will make a child, a child to freeze rather than actually perform, rather than even say what they're supposed to say, because they're afraid, everyone is expectant, everyone is waiting for me to say it correctly. What if I say it wrong? What is going to happen? Are they going to laugh at me? So let us minimize, the pressure. Let us, try to make them feel comfortable in learning Swahili, in learning this precious language, because in that way, we are not going to extend or make this silent period to become longer. No, it's not going to be like that. Yeah. Another thing that I want us to look at. So, comprehension is measurable without speech. Did you know that? That's, you know, as when we started, no, okay, not when we started, I think that one of the points that we talked about, we say that comprehension can, no, not comprehension, understanding. So here we are talking about, comprehension, where that we say that comprehension, you know comes first, or comprehension is measurable without speech. Hmm. Yani, you do not have to wait for words to see progress. Nah, nah, nah. You do not have to wait for words. You do not want to wait for them to speak so that you can see progress. No. You can track understanding through how a child follows instructions. How they actually react to the stories that you tell them. How they actually, or how they point out to things. Mhm. You may be telling them, you may be asking them to bring you something. For example, uh you say, a child who, for example, before I give another example, I tell my child, niletee kikombe. This child actually does not speak. This child is in that silent period. Niletee kikombe. And they bring the cup. So it shows that they have actually, followed instruction, that they are understanding even before they actually speak. So let us know that this comprehension is actually measurable without even, them speaking verbally. Now, let us look at this example where, a child laughs at the right moment during a Swahili story time. Sorry, or correctly grabs, something, you know, that you tell them, or yeah, what you ask them. That one actually shows real progress. So let us just know that this comprehension is actually very measurable, without speech, because I need to understand before I can speak. And if they have really understood and followed instruction, then that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So tell me on the comment section, what is happening in your household? Are they really speaking, or they are actually they are they have wider vocabulary. They have a wider knowledge of most of the vocabularies in Swahili, but they don't speak. They don't talk, or they don't speak. Tell us in the comment section what is really happening. Okay. Mm-hmm. Or if you are there with your child right now, or you're listening to this live stream, and maybe you can see where your child is, maybe playing, or watching the TV, or playing with their iPad, you can try them right now. You can maybe try and tell them, kuja hapa mwanangu, and then we see, are they really going to come, or they are not going to understand what that which you have told them. Mm-hmm. So you can try that practically here, and let's know on the comment section. Did they really come, or what happened? Or they saying, huh? What did you say? Hmm? So let's test that and see what is going to happen, and see whether he or she is going to come to you. Okay, let's see whether they are understanding. Another point that I want us to see or talk about is, some children are, watchers. Yeah, some children are just watchers, where we just say, where, give me a minute, I put this one on before it goes off. Yeah, it's good now. Sorry for that. So we are saying that some children are, they are naturally watchers, where the personality would actually even, play a role too, where you see that they are naturally, cautious, or they are, observant kids who often take longer period or to produce any new skill without, to produce any skill out loud, not just a language. So just, keep watching and see what is really going to happen, or what next. Am I supposed to say this, or or you know okay, by what I meant by that is that maybe if I give an example, you're all going to relate to us. A child who watches other kids for a while before joining the game may also watch language. Mhm. If I don't know how a particular thing is done and I'm seeing other people doing it, what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit aside, see how they're doing it, and then I join. So that's why I'm saying that some children are just watchers, where they can actually, stay aside, watch something happen, and then they speak it. That's why we're saying that they may also, watch a language from, some, at a side before they start, you know, speaking it. Okay. So, parents who are in this live stream, how do you describe your child? Is your child, a watcher, or is your child a jumper? You know, what do you think? What do you think is the character of your child? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Another point that I want us to look at that, you know, the first words they often come out unexpectedly. I know parents, there's that joy of a child, speaking or saying something unexpectedly that you've never heard them say. How would you feel, or how do you usually feel? Okay, and this one maybe I'll take it to the first time a child says "mama." Uh-huh. How do you feel? I bet that is the most exciting moment, for a mother to hear their child just utter that one word that they have always wanted them you know to say it. So, so now let us look at this. Speech usually break the silence in, a low pressure. Now, referring to the other part where we said that there shouldn't be pressure, you know. So, when there is no pressure, when you least expect it, that is where we have, high excitement. Uh-huh. It is not because someone asked for it, you know, or commanded them to speak. No, we say that it comes out unexpectedly, comes out naturally without it being forced. Now, let us look at this example. A child's first spontaneous Swahili sentence may come out shouted in excitement during play. Let's say, for example, they are playing something and they are playing a game, and this child actually won. Mhm. And then because this child knows that whenever they someone wins, they shout and then say some specific words. Yeah. So the child would definitely want to try. Remember, they have been watchers. They have been seeing what happens. They have been seeing what other people, do out there, and then they want to try because they were watchers and now they want to put it in practice. Uh-huh. So, and then you hear them, Nimeshinda, Nimeshinda, but you've never heard them speak. But because they have it, they have been, absorbing it inside. Now it is time to, for speech. So they come out when we least expect it. And we have said this is, when we have low pressure, when we have, high excitement moment. Uh-huh. Great, tell me, has it ever happened to your child? Has your child ever said a word out of anxiety or no, out of excitement, and then you thought, ooh, I thought this day would never come. Mm-hmm. Tell me in the comment section, please. Don't forget to tell us in the comment section how it has always been, or how it happened, or how your child spoke the first Swahili word. How was your experience? Did you like it? Did you wish that they would continue speaking more? eh? And you seeing that indeed whatever you have been doing is working. Okay, so let's continue. And then we see that um we are looking at things that would actually help them. Remember, yeah, what we are looking at, or what you're tackling right now is in the silent period. Why my child, may understand but may not speak. What am I supposed to do? How would I do, or what would I do to help this child? Now, we have another one where we say that if you sing, where we feel like, singing would actually, unlock the speech before conversation does. you know Maybe before even continuing with that, if you're a parent and you've been in a position of seeing one of the Tayari lives lesson, we usually make sure that we are incorporating songs before, because we know that songs will usually, reinforce or make sure that that vocabulary that we are learning is, the vocabulary that you're learning is sticking to, to the child's the vocabulary is actually sticking. We make sure that our songs are very, very repetitive, and because of that, it is easier for them to understand, to grasp, to know what that vocabulary really, really mean. So, group repetitions, as I said earlier, in songs feels much, lower pressure than the ones, in talking. So, you know, words often come out first. Let us look at this example where we see that, a quiet child may mouth along to, you know, mm, mm, what do I want to say? Mhm. Um, a child may actually, a quiet child may actually um, try to sing or one of the Tayari songs in their, what do you want to say it in their mind really? That if they listen to a song, they may actually try to grasp some of the vocabularies before they actually, before they actually say it out loud, or before they can actually construct one full sentence. Yeah. Parents, do you sing together with your children in their native language? Or do you incorporate songs in your day to day activities? Tell me, what do you do? Do you make sure that that one has been done, or how do you reinforce these vocabularies? Okay. Another thing that I want us parents to know is that if you start comparing your child with, you know, where we have this comparing siblings or peers, it can actually backfire on you. Every timeline of every child's timelines is actually very different, and I know by now that we should be knowing that timeline of a certain child and a certain child usually is different, and do not compare them to their siblings. Do not, it usually increase what you call self-consciousness rather than actually motivating them. They'll feel like they're not good. They feel like you prefer so and so more than them. So please do not try to compare them. Make sure that you understand that they grow, or their understanding or their comprehension or their speaking is quite different, and they'll definitely get there. As much as it will take long, there'll be a time when they are going to speak eventually. So do not say, your sister was already speaking at your age. I feel like that one will literally, you know, make them feel bad. Mhm. Yeah, I know there are others who would maybe say, at your age. Uh-huh. Or Your peers are doing much better than you are doing. I feel like we need to motivate them. We don't need to compare them with different people. And I have seen where a child has been motivated, and through that motivation, the child became, did better on, you know, it was not necessarily on language, but just making this child feel good in their own skin, make sure that they are improving rather than having to, compare them with someone else, maybe their peers, classmates, or even other siblings. So, so parents, this is actually, a very gentle reminder that let us celebrate every child's win. Let us not show them that there's that, comparison that is happening. Okay. Whew. Okay. 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 Please keep the comments coming. Keep the comments coming. Make sure that you are sending those comments so that we can read and we can discuss them all together. So let us look at another point where we are saying that continued input matters more than the forced inputs. Eh? This is very useful thing that you can do during this phase, this the silent phase. Keep talking, keep singing, and keep reading to your child too. Let it be, something that is continued. Let the input, you know. Remember, we said again, we talked about consistency. Let continue doing that, because if you start doing, forcing them or forcing it to your child, we said it's not going to work. We say that they start speaking when there's low pressure. Mm. They start talking when there's low pressure. So as I was saying, keep singing, keep reading, and actually keep talking to your child. You don't have to wait for them to talk back first. Remember, we said they absorb and then they'll speak it out. Or yeah, they'll speak later. And remember, we also say that we have others who are watchers, and maybe they are watching and then they later on they are going to do it. Parents who keeps narrating daily routines in Swahili, even without responses, is you know is always still building the child's internal language bank for later. Don't think that that is literally going for a waste. No, you are building it up, for them. You are increasing. I think there was a time we talked about, a jar. Mhm. We talked. Let's look at this example. I have a cup. I have a cup, and I'm pouring in water. That is now the input. That is the input. Pouring water inside until now it overflows. Now that is the output. This is how also a child's brain work. Let us continue putting in, narrating this in narrating, these daily routines in Swahili. When the cup now overflows, yeah, that's when now we have the output. That is when now they will start talking. So make sure that you are adding, make it overflow, and then you will now see the results. Uh-huh. So this is still building the child's internal, language bank for later, because that later is when now they are going to use that particular vocabularies that you have been teaching them in, the context where they are supposed to be used. Now, parents who are watching me, what is your daily routine? Mhm. What is your bath time routine? What is your car ride routine? Like, what do you do when you are on your way home? What do you do when you are having breakfast? What do you do when during bath time? Do you narrate them stories? Do you sing? Yeah. Do you add a little bit of Swahili in your routine? Please make sure that you do that so that this one would really do well or will really go a long way because still we are building up their memory language memory bank. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I want us to do something. Parents who are watching me right now, maybe you are seated on your screen, watching this live stream right now, and your child is just there. Maybe we can try something. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to try something that is, low pressure round. You know, and you know what that is? Mm-hmm. Do you know what we are going to do? Call your child. Tell your child to do an action of the Swahili word that you are going to say. Mm. They don't have to say it back. No. Tell them to just show you the action. Just tell them to show you the action. And kids who are also listening to me, if mama tells you that, remember, there's no talking that is actually needed here. Just react or actually even point out to something that mama is, asking you to show. Mm-hmm. So, are we doing that? How did it go? Did they actually respond well, as expected? Or what happened? Did they just become silent all the way? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Something else that I want us to talk about is that, silent period isn't unique to, bilingual kids. This is actually something that happened, for fast language to, fast language development to. Every toddler go through, that quiet, that quiet listening phase, before, their very first word in a language. Let us look at this example and see what am I really talking about here. So every monolingual, we are talking now English speaking toddler, understand far more than they say for months before their first real words appear. Mhm. Now, parents who bilingual parents, did you actually notice this listening phase even before Swahili was introduced, before you even introduced Swahili into their daily routine? What happened then? You can type that in the comment section and let's know what happens as we interact and see what other parents had then. Uh huh. So, um, multilingual homes, yeah, where we have those where we have more than one language, may see more than one silent period. you know we have homes with more than one language. A child may go through a mini silent period each time a new language is introduced or emphasized more. Mhm. A child who was fairly vocal in English may go quiet again for a while when Swahili has actually been introduced. That is normal too. Mhm. They will go silent. Like the family is going to experience these sort of periods for for every time a different language has actually been introduced to their family or yeah, with them. So I'd like to look at two other points before we end this live stream, where we say that know when to look beyond normal silent period. Parents, please know when to look, beyond the normal silent phases. But if a child knows little, shows little progress in either languages over a long period of time, or a broader speech delay, it's worth having chat with, you know, speech professionals. Just, just don't rule things out. Okay? And actually, do not worry. Not to worry. Don't worry unnecessarily. If you feel like this is far much delayed, maybe you may decide to seek a a specialist, so that you get to know what is really happening. Because look at this example. We have, children who are, who is quiet in Swahili, but is very chatty and expressive in English, is very likely to, to just have that face which is called um, the normal, silent face. Okay. Also, this period, you may not see this as a concern, because this is normal. This is that the silent period. And then one last point that I want us to look at is that make sure that you celebrate every win of this child. Make sure that make sure that they know that you are acknowledging their what they have done. Make sure that their growth has been seen, because from that they'll keep on doing more, because they know mama says or papa says, and they know that I'm doing the best. I mean, if I want to make them happy, I'll keep on learning, I'll keep on trying to speak. uh There's nothing good than a child, than, that feeling where you see that someone sees, you know. I also, I think I would, I feel good and appreciated. So imagine how kids would also feel. So we are closing and ending our stream, but I'd like to say that silence is not absence. No, silent is not absence. It is preparation. Silent is not absence. It is actually preparation for that period where now they are going to speak. Your child's brain is quietly stockpiling vocabularies, sentences, patterns, and sounds. And the moment that they are going to feel safe, they are going to feel safe and motivated enough, that is when it is going to come out. Often, all at once. Now, our job as parents, our job as educators is, isn't to, extract speech. No. It is to keep the environment rich, warm, and, rich and warm, so that when this switch happens, you know, it's going to happen naturally. Okay, parents, asanteni sana for watching my stream today. And I believe that we've all been educated in one or two things that we did not know about, and we are going to keep in mind to help our kids grow, help our kids start speaking, making sure that they have this safe environment to be in. Okay, parents. So kids who are also watching my stream today, just know that this week you do not, you do not even need to talk to win. Just try to show us that you really, really, understand Swahili words with action, pointing them out, or doing some face. For example, Mama will say, furaha, furaha, and you just show it on your face. So you do not have to speak to win. No, just show us that you really, really understand. Okay, so I'd like us to meet in my next show where we are even going to tackle some more, or we're going to talk about chats. Okay, yeah, talk about other important things that will help parents and educators improve, speech in their children. So, kwa heri. See you next time.